In the main, I think it's positive. Obviously, quality is the key. Like any time in the past, present, or the future, if you've got a quality asset and a management team, I think that's one of the things that is vitally important, that anybody at this stage can design, build, within reason, a data center, and even operate. It's the investment is usually now going to the management, the strategy, your boutique. I think that's one of the things that's very important, is the Equinixes, the Telecities, the Digital Realties, that ilk of company have the Me Too data centers clicked. If you're going to get money into that, you want to have something that's quite unique. So in the main positive, but a lot of management skills need to be there. It's a really good question, because I think that if you ask the question, what are the main challenges for data centers, then I think, as always, the availability and costs associated with energy is always a big challenge. However, I think one of the biggest challenges for Europe is the whole uncertainty around sovereignty of data, data protection, data compliance, safe harbor. You know, the US Department of Justice now looking at the email that sits in a data center in Europe. You know, that whole thing destabilizes markets. It's not directly related to the physical data center, but it's certainly the most important aspect that's going to affect data and where it sits. If I think it's tomorrow, actually, the 22nd of January, we're going to have the first indication of where safe harbor will sit, whether it'll be a whole new rewrite or whether the previous one will actually be re-presented with some changes and modifications. Obviously, if US companies cannot hold any data in America on US and EU citizens, they can only but populate data centers in Europe. And that could see a spike, so I think the biggest challenge, though, is clarification. Year on year, the market's growing, and obviously even the geographic areas that wouldn't traditionally be seen as strongholds in countries are doing quite well. Regional locations are doing okay. From what we're seeing in hosts in Ireland, it's across the board. There's obviously what we call the hyperscales. You know, Google, Amazon, Microsoft and Apple are on a different level and chart. But also now, because cloud isn't this thing of if, it's when, you're starting to get people adopt the hybrid cloud model, where you're neither fully getting into it, but you're small steps. And therefore, hybrid cloud is definitely a growth area, which is good for co-location providers, which is good for managed service providers as well. And I really think that across the board, irrespective of no more capacity being built out, the mere nature of the technologies that are going into the data centers and the less energy that's required to drive much bigger capacity, and also 25 megapixel cameras and the insatiable appetite that people have for more content, definitely all aspects, private, public, hybrid, hyperscale is on the way up. I just think that data sovereignty around the world needs to be sorted out, and it just ticks another box. Well, the grown-ups have come into the room and sorted out what should have been probably sorted out 2 to 3 to 5 years ago. Yeah.